Noticed that the audience has changed, and I'm so honored to welcome three great school board candidates, their maiden voyage here on Mark My Words, and I think perhaps even on AM 560 radio altogether. And so it's my honor to welcome, these are all School Board District 101 candidates, Gabrielle Fender. Gabrielle, thank you. And to her left is Kris Rayman. Kris?
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Of course. And to her right is Jeff Ekstrom. Jeff, welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. And I'm going to start with you, Gabrielle, as the rose between two thorns. There. Again, this is a toxic time to be running. The Democratic Party and Pritzker combined are spending $800,000 to viciously attack everyday moms and dads. They're putting people through the meat grinder. Yep. I've heard stories of candidates that have been in this. I think I've interviewed 26 or 27 school board candidates in the last couple of months. But everyday moms and dads spat on. Moms going through the carpool pickup lines at school and their school officials calling the police and asking them to leave the premises, going in for parent-teacher conferences as a school board candidate and being escorted out by security because they're not allowed to be on school grounds, and their parent-teacher conference is going to be via Zoom instead of in person because you're a danger to be on school grounds. It is outrageous. So with that wonderful introduction, other than that brief interruption, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the rest of the play? Gabrielle, what was the spark where you said, enough's enough, I've got to run for school board?
Well, yeah, because this was never in my plan in life to run for school board. So honestly, I started noticing how my students, or my children, I have three children, a senior, a junior, and a sixth grader, and how, they're performing pretty well, but in everyday talk and in seeing their work, I wasn't matching up. They're getting very good grades, and they do work hard. I'm blessed to have, pretty intelligent children, but I wasn't seeing work. Nothing was being brought home. And then I just didn't think they were getting the education that I got, no homework, and, way too much downtime. So, it's fine because then you're looking at, the pandemic that, had a lot of, problems in itself. But, once they started getting back to school, things weren't changing. And then I started listening to more people and hearing what they were saying about their own children. And then I started looking at the Illinois report card and paying closer attention. And that's kind of where I started saying, well, enough talking, enough complaining. Let's, try to start doing something about it.
Let's do something about that. Kris, same question to you. What was there a spark where you said, time to get off the bench and run for my school board?
Yeah, I mean, the first time, the first thing was about a year ago when I presented to the school board and met with the principal about what was going on in the classes, the things that one of the teachers had on his wall comparing George Bush to Hitler and Mussolini. Ooh. And had the communist pyramid up there where, the ruling elite is killing the kids. The things in there that a sign that says capitalism, I call it crapitalism, Karl Marx. And the principal, when I first met with her about it, she said, I can't believe he's doing this again. And I said, again? And she said, yeah, this is not the first time. So and she said, you got to understand, I got to go talk to him. We got to meet. And I said, absolutely, I understand that. You got to get all the details. And a few days later, they get back to me and acted like nothing happened. And the communication that went back and forth between, I'm just a concerned parent. I have 3 kids in the district as well, and I just don't want politics anywhere like this in the school. I don't want it pro-Republican or pro-Democrat. And they, the back and forth communication was shocking to me. the way they would try to spin all the words around, I couldn't believe it. And then come this September, there was a document that went to every single teacher in the district. And some of the teachers like, oh, that's not, some of the people are saying that's not true. Well, the superintendent confirmed it in an email to me that it went to every single teacher. So I don't know what else to say. But the document, says Christianity places such importance on the individual's relationship with Jesus that culture has often been seen as a distraction to faith. Since people who don't believe in Jesus are consigned to damnation, many denominations focus exclusively on saving the souls of non-Christians. The primary value in understanding another group's language is to translate the New Testament and win them over to God. I mean, is that really where we want the focus to be? So that's, the education, like Gabrielle said, starting and looking at some of these things. You're either going to focus on academics or you're going to focus on this other stuff. And we need to stop focusing on the other stuff, focus on academics.
Because student test scores are plummeting, and they are not prepared in any way, shape, or form for the real world. Jeff, over to you. Why in the hell do you want to run for school board?
That's a tough question, but ever since our son, he's special needs, and growing up, he's a junior now, but just trying to get an IEP for him has just been extremely difficult at the elementary level that we dealt with, and trying to get that all worked out, not knowing everything. And it seems like the school doesn't want you to know everything because then you come in with more information. So we end up getting an advocate and spend a lot of time, money for us to get him the right education plan for him, since he's autistic, that he can be successful. And it's just constantly fighting and fighting and fighting. We took him out of public school, went to private school. Well, they don't have the resources like a public school does for special needs. So we had to bring him back to the public school. Went to Rotolo, the junior high, and they put him in with a class he shouldn't probably been in. And it was just seeing his level of education just go down and down and down. And we struggled. We finally got the permission through the district to send him to a therapy day school. So, hey, let's try that. The district paid for it. We're happy. We had to fight for it. But then COVID hit. So now he's trying to transition from all these different schools. And we just see how he's been hurt emotionally.
Sure.
All the different settings, all that. Then he's at home. Now he's isolated, for how long we have the lockdowns. Then he's supposed to go back to school. Well, because he has sensory processing disorder, can't wear a mask. Mm-hmm. We get everything all set up to where you go back to school. They put plexiglass around his desk. Everyone's going to be 6 feet apart, all that. And then the last minute they go, oh, no, he's got to wear a mask. Well, he's pulling it down. And they're like, oh, he's a super spreader. Oh, don't wear your mask properly. Making him, he's his child, Don't scare him like that. So basically the school said, you're no longer welcome here.
Wow.
So my wife, luckily she stays at home, spent the whole year basically homeschooling him through the district, through their program. This year, junior, he's back into a therapy day school, which is working out fantastic. I do have to give credit to Batavia for that, the school that they found for him. He's doing really well. But we lost a lot of years, especially over the COVID stuff. We're trying to get him back to where he should be, and which kind of sparked my interest in becoming the school board member, is not to see parents that have kids with special needs get left behind, give them the information to help them to make sure that their child succeeds with an IEP properly. And Gabrielle can testify to that since she has dealt with that in the past, and which has been a great connection between us. I've learned a lot from her, and she's helped us out from her being a teacher.
Yeah, I was a teacher in a private therapeutic day school. So I worked with kids with special needs, and basically they all came from different districts because it was a private school. So, and it's always a battle for kids with special needs, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be.
And the fact that, it's emotional and psychological trauma to be putting these kids through these mask mandates, saying things like super spreader, that they don't necessarily even comprehend what that means, other than I'm a danger to my classmates. It is outrageous. We're going to continue our conversation with these three fantastic school board candidates. Jeff, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. And I know you're not alone, but I'm so glad that all three of you are here fighting together for the future of our children. You're listening to Mark My Words. We'll be right back.
Don't miss